Stop everything you're doing and answer this with total honesty. Who are you? I'm not asking what you do. I'm not asking where you work. I'm asking who you are. Most people fall silent because they completely confuse two things that are totally different: identity and behavior. And that confusion is literally destroying their lives. Have you ever said things like, I'm lazy, I'm shy, I'm bad with money, I'm not a relationship person? If so, you've just fallen into the greatest psychological trap in human history. You're confusing what you do with who you are, and here's the truth that may shock you. Experts say you can consciously shape your personality, and changing your identity is the key to building lasting habits that in the next few minutes you're going to discover why 95% of people stay stuck in a limited version of themselves. You'll understand the revolutionary difference between identity and behavior using Tony Robbins' 6 human needs framework. And most importantly, you'll learn how to completely rewrite your personal story that if you want to break the patterns that keep you stuck and truly become a new version of yourself. Watch until the end, because what you're about to learn can change your life forever. The universal pen. Let me explain this through a situation that happens to millions of people every day. Imagine someone who's been trying for years to change a behavior pattern. Maybe it's losing weight, stopping procrastination, becoming more confident, whatever it is. This person tries diets, reads books, takes courses, but always ends up going back to the same patterns. Why? Because they're trying to change behaviors while holding on to the same identity. Sounds familiar? Of course it does. Because we all do it. Personal identity refers to the set of personality traits that define a person. But here's the problem. Most people build their identity based on temporary behaviors. And here's the devastating truth. When you define your identity by your past behaviors, you become a prisoner of your own past. Think about it. How many times have you said, "That's just how I am," to justify a behavior you don't even like? How often have you used your personality as an excuse not to change? This confusion between identity and behavior isn't just a mistake. It's a mental prison that keeps millions trapped in limited versions of themselves. That emotional is. Now, I'm going to ask you 3 questions that might sting. But that pain is necessary, because only when you feel the full weight of the problem do you create the urgency to change it. How many times have you avoided doing something because that's not your type, or that's just not who you are? What limited version of yourself have you been defending as if it were your true identity? If you keep defining yourself by your past behaviors for the next 10 years, what kind of life will you have? The truth is, there's a fundamental difference between identity and behavior that 99% of people don't understand. Behavior is what you do, your actions, your reactions, your temporary habits. Identity is who you are, your essence, your core values, the person you choose to be. But here's where most people get stuck. They believe behavior determines identity. In reality, it's the other way around. Identity determines behavior. Let me explain with a scientific discovery that might blow your mind. Identity doesn't show up as some invisible force that dictates behavior. Identity is behavior. It's action. It's a verb. But here's the revolutionary insight. You can consciously choose the identity you want to embody. People who see themselves as athletes naturally work out. People who see themselves as entrepreneurs naturally build businesses. People who see themselves as leaders naturally take initiative. Identity is the most powerful force in shaping behavior. At the core thing, here's the truth that will transform your life forever. You are not your past behaviors. You are who you choose to be from this moment forward. Let that sink in. The way you see yourself directly shapes your reality. If you keep defining yourself by past mistakes, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. But if you understand that identity is a choice, you literally become a new person. Tony Robbins discovered something revolutionary that changed millions of lives. All human beings are driven by 6 core needs: certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth, contribution. But now I'll teach you something even more powerful. How to use these 6 needs to shift your identity first, so that habits and behaviors follow naturally. The 3 levels of let me show you the 3 levels of transformation. Level 1, change results. I want to lose weight. Level 2, change process. I'm going to diet and exercise. Level 3, change identity. I am a healthy person. 95% of people stay stuck at levels 1 and 2. They focus on what they want to have or what they want to do. Extraordinary people start at level 3. They decide who they want to be. When you change your identity, behavior becomes automatic. You're no longer fighting against yourself. You're simply being who you are. Identity is like the GPS of your life. It automatically drives you in the right direction. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you change an identity that took decades to form? The answer lies in Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, applied to identity transformation. Asterisk the transformational. Meteorologist Tony Robbins discovered that every human behavior is driven by 6 fundamental needs. We're going to use these needs to completely reprogram your identity. 1. Certainty. Creating safety in the new identity first step. Your mind needs to believe that the new identity is possible and safe. Brain practical exercise. Identify 3 people who already live the identity you want. Study how they think, act, and see themselves. This builds certainty that this identity is real and achievable. Point 2. Variety. Breaking limiting patterns. Second step. Break the mental patterns that keep reinforcing your old identity. Every time you catch yourself saying, I am, in a limiting way, immediately replace it with, in the past, I used to, or I'm learning to become someone who. This disrupts the automatic loop and creates space for change. Point 3. Significance. Feeling special in who you're becoming. Third step. Your new identity must make you feel important and meaningful. Ask yourself, why is it important for me to become this person? How does this identity make me unique? What positive impact will it have on my life and on others? The more emotional meaning you attach to this identity, the faster it becomes real. Point 4. Connection. Finding your tribe. Fourth step. Connect with people who already live the identity you're becoming. Join communities, groups, or mentors that reflect the version of you that you're stepping into. Identity grows stronger through social reinforcement. Point 5. Growth. Evolving daily. Fifth step. See your new identity as a continuous evolution, not a fixed goal. Ask yourself every day, how can I grow more into this identity today? What new skill or behavior can I develop? Growth reinforces your sense of becoming. Point 6. Contribution. Making an impact on others. Sixth step. Use your new identity to serve and uplift others. When you help others step into the same identity, you reinforce your own transformation. Become a living example of what's possible, but knowing these needs isn't enough. You must apply them systematically. And here's the protocol that will catalyze your transformation. The 21-day Identity Renewal Protocol. Week 1. Building certainty and variety. Define your new desired identity in one clear sentence. Find 3 role models who already live that identity each day. Break one old thought or behavior pattern. Document daily evidence that you can become this person. Week 2. Developing significance and connection. Define why this identity deeply matters to you. Connect with at least one person who already lives it. Act like your new identity at least 3 times per day. Begin speaking about yourself using your new identity. Week 3. Integrating growth and contribution. Identify one new skill to develop that aligns with your identity. Help someone in some way using this new identity. Fully live as your new self. Celebrate every piece of evidence that proves I've become this person. And here's the most powerful part. By the end of these 21 days, you won't be trying to be someone different. You'll simply be someone different. The difference won't be willpower. The difference will be identity. That you'll stop fighting who you thought you were and start being who you chose to become. The innerness. And let me reveal something deep. Personal identity is something we build over time as we grow and become more aware of who we are. That means you've always had the power to choose who you are. The only difference now is you finally know how to use that power consciously through the 6 human needs. When you were a child, you didn't say, I'm bad at walking, when you fell. You simply got back up and tried again because you knew you were becoming someone who walks. When you learned to speak, you didn't say, I suck at communication after saying a word wrong. You kept trying because you knew you were becoming someone who communicates. That brave child still lives inside you. They never stopped believing you could become anything. They were just waiting for you to remember that identity is a choice, not a prison. You don't have to carry the labels other people put on you. You don't have to be defined by the mistakes you made. You don't have to live the same story forever. Today, in this moment, You can decide to rewrite your story. You can choose a new identity. You can literally become a new person. And when you make that choice, something magical happens. You stop fighting against your nature and start living your true essence. You stop trying to change behaviors and start naturally being the person you chose to be. Identity building means completing inner developmental tasks so you can progressively construct a personal project. That personal project is your new story, and you're the only author of it. The most important decision of your life. You have two options in front of you. Option 1. You can keep living as a prisoner of your past definitions. Keep saying, "That's just how I am." Keep using your personality as an excuse not to grow. If you choose that path, 5 years from now, you'll still be the same person, with the same problems, the same limitations, the same regrets. Option 2. You can decide that today is day 1 of your new identity. You can choose to completely rewrite your story and become who you truly want to be. If you choose the second option, here's your first step. Identify one limiting belief you have about who you are, something that's been keeping you stuck. It could be, "I'm shy, I'm not creative, I'm bad with people." Anything. Now, within the next 24 hours, act at least once as the person you want to be. If you've always seen yourself as shy, start a conversation. If you've seen yourself as not creative, create something. If you've thought you're bad with people, give someone a genuine compliment. Just one action, one choice, one step toward your new identity. Because here's a truth that will define the rest of your life. You don't discover who you are. You decide who you are, and that decision can be made right now. Tony Robbins always says, "The power to change is already within you." The only difference between people who transform their lives and those who stay the same is the conscious decision to change their identity first. Asterisk, here's the question I leave you with. If you could completely rewrite your story, what kind of person would you choose to become? That person isn't some distant dream. They're already inside you, just waiting for your permission to exist. Give yourself that permission today. Your new story is waiting to be written. And remember, you don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to begin to realize you've always had the power to choose who you are. The moment is now. The choice is yours. And you were made to be extraordinary. If this video opened your mind to the power of identity transformation, if you felt that spark of possibility ignite, then subscribe to the Success Activation channel and hit the notification bell to receive alerts for future videos. Because here, you'll always find exactly what you need for this journey of transformation. And this journey of personal reinvention, it doesn't end here. It's only just beginning.